If somebody come and ask you, now you follow the Buddha, can you tell me actually who the Buddha is? But I don't think you can give correct answer. You say something. This self-introduction given by the Buddha is very meaningful. We can understand why he is called enlightened one.
One day along the road to the city of Siddhavya, the Brahmin donor met the Buddha. From his footprints, he knew this is not an ordinary man, and so he walked up to the Buddha and asked him thus: Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Then the Buddha said, Abhinaya, Abhinyata, Bhaveta Vancha Bhavita, Pahata Bang Pahinang Me, Tasma Buddhosmi Brahmana.
We can understand why he is called enlightened one. He said in his own language, Abhinyayang Abhinyatam Bhavetabbang cha Bhavitam Pahatabbang Pahinang Me Tasma Buddhosmi Brahmana.
One day along the road to the city of Siddhavya, the Brahmin donor met the Buddha. From his footprints, he knew this is not an ordinary man, and so he walked up to the Buddha and asked him thus: Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Perfected all the 10 perfections, eradicated all the fetters inside. Therefore he is called the Buddha. Therefore he is called the Buddha. He understands everything in this world.
Therefore, I am not a god, not an angel, not an ordinary man. I am the Buddha. This is the meaning of the Buddha or enlightenment. Buddha is not his name. Buddhi in Sanskrit, Pali languages means wisdom. Buddhi. Buddha means person who got that supreme enlightenment. That person is called the Buddha. So you can understand how difficult it is for a person to develop his mind to know everything that which exists in this universe.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, a very good morning to all of you. Nice to see you again on another Sunday over Subang Jaya Buddhist Association Facebook Live. To those of you who already wish everybody in the comment box, sadhu to you. Thank you very much for doing that. It's good to be on time to wish everybody, and also so that you can enjoy the intro video. You will not miss out anything. During this online Buddha Puja service, remember to have a calm mind, even you have encountered the problem of Wi-Fi. Namo Buddhaya, Buddha, brothers and sisters in Dhamma. Welcome to the SJBA 24th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We organize this weekly online Puja service in order to give an opportunity to the Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices, and have an opportunity to listen to a Dhamma sharing during this COVID-19 period. As I mentioned earlier, please continue to express at the comment box. Example, sadhu to everyone, and thank you for your support. This morning, we will have the lighting of the candle and offerings to the Buddha. And after the Puja service, we will have our Dhamma talk by Brother Siang Chye. Brothers and sisters, let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies, and compose our mind. Let go of thinking about the past and future, and be in the present moment. I shall now hand over to our Puja leader, Sister Anne. Over to you, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Brother Chuan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin with our Sunday Buddha Puja. To the devotees who have prepared the offerings, you may light your candles or oil lamps, and let us start the offerings to the Buddha. May I invite our President, Brother Chim, to make the offerings to the Buddha. Other devotees, you may place your palms together in Anjali and contemplate mindfully. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us together take refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura miraya macha pamadattana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho charana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipassiko opanaiko pacchatang veditabbu vinyuhiti. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa pukkala esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo anuttaram punya ketang lokasati. Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbatane supatititang saririkadatu mahabodhi buddha rupang sakalam sada. Yassa mule nisinnova sabbari vijayang aka Patto sabbanyutang satta vande tang bodhipadapang Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita aham pite namassami bodhi raja namattute. Ganasarapaditena dipena tamadansina tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang. Ganda sambara yuttena dupena sugandhina pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajanamuttamang. Vanna ganda gunopetang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saruruhe. Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mittena cahotu mokang Rupang milayati yatha idang me kayu tatayati vinnassa bahvang. Adivasetano bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigan hattumuttamang. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang acchayang kamame bante puripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang Achayang kamame Dhamma Sanditika akalika Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang Achayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning, we are very pleased to have Brother Tan Siang Chye with us for this Sunday Buddha Puja. Brother Siang Chye will be giving a talk this morning on the correct meaning of taking refuge in the noble Sangha. I think all of us know Brother Siang Chye very well, but still, please allow me to introduce Brother Siang Chye. Brother Siang Chye began his formal Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute Sunday Dhamma School, Refuge, at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late Venerable Kesri Dhammananda Nayaka Mahathera and Venerable Gunaratana. He joined the Buddhist Missionary Youth section at the BMV after completing his tertiary studies and served as the vice chairman and then chairman. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, BMSM. Brother Siang Chye was also a former ESCO member of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, heading the Dhamma subcommittee, and was later appointed as a lay advisor of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association. Currently, he is the director of Nalanda Institute, the education arm of Nalanda Buddhist Society. Brother Siang Chye is a striving meditator and active in sharing the Dhamma at various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore. His talks center around daily practice of the Dhamma and how it transforms one's life. He feels it is important to understand the essential teaching of the Buddha, as it gives Buddhists a strong foundation of the knowledge which prevent them from wrong interpretation and practice of the Dhamma. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, in this Dhamma talk, if you have any questions regarding the talk, please type your questions in the comment section. We shall pose the questions to Brother Siang Chye after the talk. We are now pleased to invite Brother Siang Chye. Over to you, Brother Siang Chye.
Good morning. Thank you, Brother Chim, for the introduction. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, today we will discuss the last of the refuges. You can remember we started this series with trying to understand the nature of taking refuge in the Dhamma. Then last week, we looked at taking refuge in the Buddha. And today, as the last of the series, we will now discuss how to take proper refuge in the Sangha. So my hope is that brothers and sisters, you have been following the talks on this subject, because they are all related. It is a very important part of being a Buddhist to understand what we call the three refuges. So the three refuges are in fact the three jewels, which are Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So in any puja, in any chanting or in any service, we will inevitably chant the verses that describe how we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. But as I've mentioned, very often we do this as a process, meaning to say, whatever people tell us to chant, or in the chanting book, we automatically will just follow. Yeah, the leader will say, let us chant the verses of taking refuge in the Buddha. We will chant Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, and taking refuge in the Dhamma, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. And today we learn about how to take refuge in the Sangha, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. But we do not often look deeply enough into what it means. What does it actually mean? This process, this practice of taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. We call them the three jewels. I prefer this term, three jewels: the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, because these three are actually at the core of the study and the practice of the Buddha's teachings. If we understand them, if we know how to go for refuge to the three jewels, then our Buddhist life would be a lot more meaningful, will be a lot more practical, in fact, so that we know what we are doing in our life as Buddhists. So in the first of the refuges, we have discussed the term Buddhist. We know that the term Buddhist comes from the word Bud, and from the word Bud you get Buddha. So the meaning of Buddha is he who has woken up. So Buddhists are in fact, now it's become an English word, Buddhists. Buddhists are in fact the people in the process of waking up. We are no longer sleeping. We are no longer dreaming. We are trying to wake up to the reality of our existence. Then when we take a look at the Dhamma, the root of this word Dhamma is the Pali Sanskrit word Dhar. And Dhar means to stand on something solid. It is the support. It is the ground on which we stand. So the meaning of dharma from this word dhar means we have something solid, something strong, something that doesn't shake to stand on. That is the meaning of dharma. So when we study, when we understand the dharma, looking at the meaning of this word, it means that we are on solid ground. We are not shaking in our study and practice of the Dharma. So today we move on to understanding the Sangha. The Sangha is very, very important too. When we want to further our understanding of the Buddha's teachings and what it means to lead a life of the Buddhist. I used to think it's very important to understand the Buddha because the Buddha is the founder. He is the enlightened one. He woke up from the sleep of ignorance. Then we have the Dhamma. The Dhamma is the teachings. And it is these teachings that we are studying in order to understand the way to overcome suffering and experience real happiness. Then I used to think that the Sangha is lower in its importance. After all, we see the monks around us. So because we can see the monks and how they live their lives, and the nuns as well, Yeah, they are a group of people whom are not mysterious. Yeah, we can see them. There is nothing extraordinary or nothing really special about them. This is what I used to think. But as I learned more and more about the Buddha's teachings, I began to understand it comes, yeah, as a package. It comes together. When you have Buddha, you will have Dhamma. When you have Dhamma, you will have Sangha. And in actual fact, when you have Sangha, you again have the Buddha. So they are very related elements of the Buddhist way of life. So it is by no means that the level and the standing of the Sangha is lower than that of the Buddha and the Dhamma. And today, I hope through this discussion, we can understand why that is so. So today, we will look at how do we really mean correctly take refuge in this noble Sangha. Next, please. Next slide. So let us again examine what it is to seek refuge. We are using this word refuge. And so it is a kind of a protection. Yeah. So when we go for refuge, and even when we look at the Pali word, we say Buddhang Saranang. Yeah, Gacchami. Saranang is a kind of protection. And Gacchami means we go to. So we are going to some entity, or object that will protect us. So that is very, very important. Yeah, because one of the functions of a religion, any religion, is to give peace and solace to the followers. Meaning to say, when the followers of the religion have some kind of disturbance in their mind, some kind of unrest, they are not at peace. They will look to the objects of the religion in order to calm themselves. So that means that there is a protection or a protective element, a function in that religion. So in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we find this protective element, the function, how it works as a protection. But for today, I would like to go in deeper as well. Here I have put, refuge is also something that gives our lives meaning. We go for refuge in order to make our lives have more meaning. That means the things that we do are really, really substantial. Yeah, we just don't do it frivolously. It has no meaning. Yeah, so in our lives, especially when we come to a religion, we do a lot of things without understanding why we are doing it. For example, when I was young, I was taken to many temples, and my grandmother, who was very religious, would say to me, put the joss stick into the container. And I would dutifully, I would put the joss stick. And then she would say, burn this paper. And I will burn the paper. And whatever she asked me to do, I will just comply. I will follow her to do what she asked me. But I had no understanding of why I do these things. The meaning was not explained to me. And for that matter, I think a lot of Buddhists don't really understand why they are doing these things. Why are we offering water? Why are we offering flowers? Why are we offering joss stick or incense? Why do we do all these things? And so when we understand, when we come to study and understand, then when we do these acts of offering, our heart and our mind will blend together. and it will become a very, very meaningful activity for us. But for a lot of us Buddhists, we just do it. We go to the temple sometimes on Vesak Day, sometimes on Katina, full moon, new moon, all these days. And then what we do is, just put the joss stick because joss sticks are on sale. We've been told you have to offer joss sticks, so we offer the joss sticks. Sometimes we just put some money into the donation box. And then we do a few more other things like ring the bell, here and there, donate for bricks and the building fund. But we don't really understand. So if we did understand all these things, then our wisdom will grow. And when we do it, it will have a meaning to us. I do it because of this. I do it so that I will have better understanding. I do it because I am a real disciple of the Buddha. And I really want to understand the Dhamma. And I am taught by the Sangha. So therefore, I do this thing, this thing, this thing. In this explanation, I would like to present a new way of looking at refuge, meaning it is a reason to be as well. We can be many, many, many things, but a reason to be a Buddhist, a reason to be a spiritual person, we can have a better understanding if we look more closely at the meaning of refuge. And here I've written, some people look for refuge in their careers. The careers are very important to them. They define themselves. I am a lawyer, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a teacher. So these careers make them, it's so important to them. Therefore, it is a refuge. When they don't know what to do, they will look at the practices of their careers, their professions, and then they know. So I am supposed to behave like this. This is who I am. And then they also look at the families and their friends. If I have family around me, my friends around me, I know who I am. Because I identify who I am through my community, through all these people that I mix with, my father, my mother, all my uncles, my aunties, my great-grandfather, etc., who may have passed away, but you said, I am the great-grandson of this very important person. So recognize me as such. Therefore, this is what I mean when I say there are people who look for refuge in their families and friends. Some people, they create their refuge by keeping up with the latest fashion. They want to wear the most trendy things, clothes. And therefore, people will see them as a fashion icon. And others by traveling to far off, exciting destinations. Then they'll come. Have you been to the Silk Road? Have you been to Japan? Have you been to this very, very unusual destination? And then I have been, I've seen this and I've seen that, and it's very, very enjoyable. So they position themselves as very experienced travelers. But then to really understand what it means, but deep down inside, we know that careers end in retirement. I'm newly retired, so I can understand that. Families and friends grow old and then they die. So how do you relate to them after that? Fashions will change and holidays always come to an end. So if you relate your identity with these things, it is not solid, it is not secure. One more time, please, press. So in the end, in the end, refuge actually is the overcoming of the fear, the anxiety, the insecurity of losing these things. We know we're going to lose it, but how do we find a kind of protection? How do we gain strength to face these things? That also is refuge. So it's something that we need to think about. Because as I said, things change in life. Yeah, we get things that we do not like. We don't look forward to it. But in such times, how do we live our lives? How do we look at ourselves? Yeah, and we can do that clearly and meaningfully if we know what is our refuge. How do we define ourselves? Next, please. So Buddhists take refuge in the three jewels, as I mentioned. So all over the world, there are about 400 million Buddhists around the world. And normally they will take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha, because that is what being a Buddhist is all about. So today we look at taking the Sangha as our refuge. Now, let us understand this in a more in-depth way. The Sangha does consist of the people who call themselves Buddhists, meaning they might be lay people or they might be ordained people. Because in Buddhism, we make the distinction. In some religions, there's no distinction. Everybody is the same. But in Buddhism, we have this difference. They are the lay people and they are the ordained people who have practiced the Dhamma to a point of experiencing what we call Nibbana. And the people who experience the Nibbana need not always be ordained people, need not always be the monks and the nuns. Because we know even in the stories from the days of the Buddha, and even today in our own lives, we know that there are people, lay people, as well as monks and nuns, who have experienced this attainment of Nibbana. So, the Sangha means also both those who have attained and those who have not attained. But there is a further distinction. There is a difference. And what is this difference? The word Sangha, in a very broad level, has two meanings or two standards. That is conventional, the normal Sangha, and the ideal Sangha. The Sangha that the Buddha, when he was teaching, this is the Sangha that he wanted to establish. This is ideal, meaning all the characteristics, the way they behave, the way they think, is according to how the Buddha planned for. This is how the Buddha organized the Sangha. So that is called ideal Sangha. And then you have what is called the normal or conventional Sangha. To look at this more deeply, it means that the Sangha, using the word, means the communities of ordained monks and nuns. And this is how we look at it in a very, very ordinary sense. The conventional and the ideal Sangha, they overlap. Meaning to say that the ideal Sangha and the conventional Sangha might be in one entity, but it doesn't mean that all of the conventional Sangha can make up the ideal Sangha. So what does that really mean? Many members of the ideal Sangha are not ordained. As I mentioned, these are the beings who have experienced what it is, they have experienced what we call the unconditioned state of Nibbana. So it does not mean that all the time lay Buddhists cannot be called Sangha as well. So there are also monks and nuns who practice. There are also monks and nuns who have taken on the vows and the precepts of the Sangha, but they have not attained the experience of the unconditioned Nibbana. So there now, I hope it becomes clear that there is a distinction. Yeah, there are Sangha means the broad organization, the broad group, the big group of people, of human beings who say that they are followers of the Buddha. There are those who are ordained, they become monks and nuns. So we call this the conventional Sangha, but within the conventional Sangha are those who have strived to experience Nibbana. And in a way, to make it even more complicated, there are the lay people who also strived and have succeeded in experiencing Nibbana. Next, please. So in a very wide sense, all those who take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha become members of the what we call the Parisa, the fourfold assembly. In the fourfold assembly, you get the monks and the nuns, the layman, the upasika, and the lay woman. Yeah, upasika, layman, upasika, lay women. So this make up the fourfold community. Yeah, and this is what the Buddha wanted to establish. That the fourfold assembly, the Parisa, is strong. Yeah, before the Buddha said he would consider passing away. So when we take refuge in the conventional Sangha, we take refuge in both senses of the Sangha, the conventional and the ideal. We remember that the conventional Sangha, and this is why we don't just say the ideal Sangha is working. The ideal Sangha is worthy of our veneration. We pay respect to the normal conventional Sangha because the monks and nuns belonging to this category have kept the Buddha's teachings alive for more than 2,500 years, 2,600 years. And their work, because they memorized, they have studied, they understood the Buddha's teachings, we are able to understand, we are able to study, we read, we listen today due to their work. So the whole of the Sangha deserves our gratitude for doing this job, this work of unbroken transmission. Since the days of the Buddha, that when he was alive and teaching, till today, this Sangha has played this very important role of keeping the teachings of the Buddha alive for us to study, for us and guide us in our practice. Then we also know these aspects, that not all members of the normal Sangha are the best models of behavior. We have to be very sincere about this. There are monks and nuns who don't behave according to the code of conduct. We see them, and sometimes we also encounter them when we go out into the towns. There was, now it's not so bad, but you can remember the years we used to have a lot of bogus monks. Actually, some of these bogus monks are real monks. They have taken the ordination. They are not just, shave their hair and put on the robes. They actually have gone through the formal ordination. It's just that they have moved away from the proper conduct. So this is what I mean. There are those, and we do see them, although we don't talk so much about them. We do see that there are members of the Sangha that don't really follow to the details of the precepts. But when we look for guidance in one's life, and when we study the Buddha's teachings, and the teachings tells us, so and so and so, you must practice this. So who are our models? And sometimes the models are those that we read. The inspiration for our practice are those that we read about in the Buddhist text. We know about during the Buddha's time and after the Buddha's time, there were these great monks and these great nuns, and they are supposed to have attained to the states, the levels of purification. So we look at these written in the book, as our models or wonderful examples for us to follow. So it's important for us to understand the Sangha because, and here are the two reasons, without the examples of those who have studied and practiced before us, we would not know these two things. Number one, that awakening, the attainment of Nibbana is available for all who seek it. And here, the value of the Sangha really comes in. Because when we take a look at the Sangha and how they have made the Buddha's teachings come alive, then they explain what they have experienced and understood to us. And then the Buddha's teachings reach their full value. We can have, and we can study also, all the precepts of behavior. But the importance of these precepts of behavior, in their different levels, as explained in the Noble Eightfold Path, we break the Noble Eightfold Path into the three trainings, of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Sila, Samadhi, and Panya are exemplified. They are shown, they are reflected in the Noble Sangha. Who are the best examples of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. And then we know for a fact that Nibbana, achieving the unconditioned awakening, is not a fairy tale. It is not a myth. So in the study and practice of the Buddha's teachings, there is the ordinary, for the ordinary lay Buddhist. And sometimes the ordinary lay Buddhists, because of the responsibilities, they can't do more. They can't spend too much time studying and practicing. But there are those people who renounce and they can study and practice to a very high and deep level. And when they attain the overcoming of suffering, then what the Buddha really talked about, what he explained, is true. It comes alive. It is no longer words that are hidden in the book. It is something for us to really achieve as well, because there are those people who have achieved it. So we take heart, we are inspired, we are further motivated that because these people have done it, we too can do it. And secondly, when the awakening has taken place, when they have reached that enlightenment, or the experience of Nibbana, how do we relate to it in real life? So these two qualities are very important to us, and we can understand these through the Sangha. Through the conventional Sangha, and more importantly, through the ideal Sangha. Another word for the ideal Sangha is the Arya Sangha. These are the true nobles who have walked the way of the Buddha to experience what the Buddha himself experienced. So this way, is important. We can see it. These are the people. This is the qualities. These are the qualities of the people who have attained it. So it becomes alive to us. It is no longer just talking about it. It is no longer theory. It becomes practical. Next, please. So these are the qualities of the noble Sangha that we chanted. And I will very quickly go through it. The reason why I have included it is because it is useful for us to reflect upon it. Meaning to say, when we really want to understand the Sangha, we take these verses and then we think about it. Very often, the only time that we come into contact with these verses is during the puja. And after the puja, we shut the book, keep the book, in the cupboard until the next time we have puja again. This is not the best way to understand the Sangha. To understand the Sangha, we have to recall. And this is one way of recalling, the qualities of the noble Sangha. Remember, we chanted, Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho. It means, it tells us the qualities of the conventional as well as the Arya Sangha. The disciples of the Blessed One practice well the bhikkhu training or bhikkhuni training, keeping to the good way. That means they practice in a very, very good way. They have entered the Sangha in order to learn, in order to practice in a good way. Which means in their mind, they don't go and do funny things. That is not in their mind. They want to keep to the good way. So in the Sangha, we can find this very, very responsible. They are very dedicated and committed monks and nuns. And we know who they are. We come into contact with them. They observe, they train, they keep to the training in a good way. Then, uju patipanno, they keep to the training in a straight way. Whatever are the precepts, they keep to the precepts. They do not break the precepts. It's very, very straight, the way that they behave, the way that they live the life of the Sangha. Next, Naya Patipanno, they keep to the method, meaning to say, they will study and practice the method that will bring them the great reward. And what is this great reward? Nibbana. So therefore, if they keep to the method, the methodical way, they will somewhere along the line, sooner or later, they will reap the benefits of Nibbana. So that is why there is the method. The method is to take the members of the Sangha to Nibbana. In fact, the Buddha has mentioned there is only one reason to enter the Sangha. And what is that reason? If you want to become a monk and a nun, your main reason is to keep to the method and therefore eventually attain Nibbana. Then we have Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho. They keep to the moral way. Even small things that are wrong, they do not do. They are very moral. The precepts are the guiding light for them. And therefore, they do not divert. They do not go off course, but always are mindful of the precepts. Next, please. And then then in this passage, it is described the type of rewards. Here it is mentioned, Yadidang Chattari, Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala. There are two numbers here. Chatta, Chattu, Chatta comes from Chattu. Chattu means four. There are these 4 pairs of persons. And Atta means 8. 8 kinds of individuals in the Sangha. You can find them in the Sangha. So what are these 4 pairs of persons? It is paired up because when they practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the path will become reality to them. And so they will experience, those who are very, very hard striving on the path, they will have 2 experiences. Meaning to say, they will take on the consciousness of what is called the path, and they will take on what is called fruition. So path and fruition in Pali, Magga and Phala are the terms to describe. You practice the path, and the path takes you to the door. So you are at the door, and the door opens. Then you step through the door. That is called Phala. Magga is going to the door, and the door opens. And when you step through, meaning to say, you achieve enlightenment. So Magga and Phala, the path and the fruition, describes the 4 pairs of persons. So they are in pairs, Magga, Phala. And after that, we describe them as the 8 kind of individuals. The person who has experienced Magga, the person who has experienced Phala, they're actually the same. But then it is described that these will be the 8 kinds of individuals. And we too can be part of this process. As I've said, there are lay people who have experienced the Magga and the Phala consciousness. Then we talked about Ahuneyo. They are worthy of offering. You want to give to people, none better than them. This noble Sangha. Pahuneyo. They are worthy of hospitality. You can invite them to come into your house, and make them comfortable. Dakineyo is worthy of gifts. When you want to give gifts, meaning to say you want to offer them the requisites, because monks and nuns, actually, formally, they are only allowed to receive the requisites, the 8 requisites. They are not allowed to receive other things. But if the need arises for other things beyond the 8 requisites, you can offer it to them. Medicine is under the requisites. But bear in mind, you have to think. Are you doing good when you give the monks and nuns things that are outside of the requisites? Next, please. Right. So we say that they are Anjali Karniyo. They are worthy of salutation. When we meet them, we salute to them. They are worthy of this kind of salutation. Anuttarang Punya Ketang Lokasati. And they are an unsurpassed field of merit for the world. Which means when you offer to them, the merits are very great. Especially if they have gone through Magga and Phala. They are enlightened members of the Sangha, the Arya Sangha. So what you offer becomes really great in the volume of merits that you get. So we are not doing offering because we say, this person, I think I want to give more. This person, I want to give less. But what we do know is this is a noble person. This is a good person. This is the person who lives according to the precepts of the Sangha. Therefore, in order to make their lives more comfortable, so that they can live the noble life, I make these offerings to them. Not giving to them with the selfish motive. I give so I get more. That is called business. You are doing business. It is not doing dana. Please remember that. Next, please. So, I mentioned getting inspiration from the Sangha. And when we read the Buddhist texts, the scriptures, we know of the great personalities. And this person was, this monk was one of the very, very well-known personalities. And today, the effects of this monk's actions are still with us. Let me explain what I mean. We know of the Venerable Angulimala. Before he became a monk, his name was not, before he took up this dangerous way of life, that means he was a serial killer. His name was Ahimsa. But when he became a serial killer, people called him Angulimala, meaning the garland put around your neck of fingers. So he was wearing, you can see from this picture, he wears a garland of fingers because his teacher, whose mind was corrupted by people who didn't like him, told the teacher, this young man was having an affair with the teacher's wife. So teacher got angry and he said, in order to repay me for my teaching, you must get me this garland of flowers, a garland of fingers, not flowers. So he went about killing people. And then he started to become very good at killing people. And the people in this country, that area, were very afraid of him. So one day the Buddha saw that he was about to, and this is the story, he was about to kill his mother, who went looking for the son, trying to save the son from this very bad way of life. So the Buddha projected himself, and Angulimala started to chase the Buddha, but he could not catch the Buddha. And then the Buddha said, you are still running, I am not running. And Angulimala was very, very puzzled by it. And so he asked the Buddha, please explain. And the Buddha preached to him. And Angulimala understood what he was doing was not good. And he became a monk. So now, what do I mean by the effects of Venerable Angulimala today? We have what is called a chant that is called the Angulimala Parita. And what is the effect of the Angulimala Parita? If a woman, a lady, is in childbirth and having pain in childbirth, it is quite usual in Buddhist countries to take water to the monk, and the monk will chant this Angulimala Parita. Because during the life of the Venerable Angulimala, when he became a monk, he was going about on alms round. He saw a lady in childbirth and it was very painful. And she could have died. And the Venerable Angulimala went to see the Buddha. Said, how can I help this lady? And the Buddha said, you can make an asseveration. You can describe, make a statement about your virtue. And the Venerable Angulimala said, I used to be a killer. And the Buddha said, no, from the moment you became a monk, you did not break any of your precepts. You were very virtuous from that day onwards. That is very strong virtue. So use that virtue to help this lady. So the Venerable Angulimala went to the lady and said, sister, this is my conduct. Ever since I became a monk, I have not violated or broken any virtue. I did this mindfully, knowing the value of the precepts. May the merits, may the positive energy of this keeping the merits help you in your childbirth. And strangely enough, the lady delivered the baby without much pain after that. Does it happen today? It happens today. And there are many within our community who will say, yes, I was having trouble, ladies, women, I was having trouble giving birth. And then when I drank the water, which the monks have chanted, the Angulimala Parita, who made a statement about his virtue after renouncing. It helped the lady to give birth comfortably without much pain. So that's why we can find inspiration in the disciples during the Buddha's time. Next, please. And even after the Buddha's time, we know that there are great disciples who did extraordinary things that you can even call superhuman. For example, the Venerable Master Xuanzang, who traveled from China to India to bring back the teachings, the written teachings of the Buddha. And it took him almost 19 years of study and writing in order to bring back the uncorrupted teachings of the Buddha back to China. Because in China, the teachings of the Buddha were not uniform. Some people said this, some people said that. So there was a great mixture about what the Buddha's teachings was. Wrong interpretation, wrong, different ways of looking at the Buddha's teaching. So the Venerable Xuanzang brought back from India what he had studied, what he had written, and then he made it uniform again, in China. But when we hear about the stories, how he walked, you can see the route, and he encountered all kinds of trouble before he got to India. He had to avoid bandits. Actually, bandits also captured him. There were some places that did not understand Buddhist monks, also captured him. And eventually he managed to free himself and went to Nalanda University in India, where he studied very deeply and he wrote about it. And he visited a lot of the Buddhist sites. And I have met with a Nepali archaeologist who said, using the accounts of Venerable Xuanzang, he could find Buddhist sites. That means leftover of buildings and sites, constructions, that were described by the Venerable Xuanzang. So he said, to the east, you walk 20 steps. To the west, you walk 10 steps, 15 steps. You will see the structure here. And true enough, this modern day archaeologist followed and started digging, and he found the structure of the gateway, all these things that were described in detail. He said Xuanzang's descriptions are the most detailed that help him to find all these structures still in Nepal today. And of course, the story of the monkey and how he goes west is derived from the travel of Venerable Xuanzang. So he's a great inspiration. It was a very difficult journey, very dangerous. The weather, the land was very difficult. But all he said was, I must reach India. So therefore, his devotion and his commitment was very, very great. And we can use that when we study that. When I heard about it, I was so motivated, inspired, to follow the Buddha's teachings more meaningfully. Next, please. So now, let us take a look. I found this very wonderful passage. Let's take a look by how we can contemplate upon the qualities of the Sangha, and then how they can become our refuge. This writer from Sri Lanka, Surendra Vidyagya, I think that is the pronunciation. He says, as long as someone reflects upon the qualities of the Sangha, his mind is invaded not by greed, by anger, by delusion. If we reflect upon the great masters, the great teachers, those who have lived their lives in accordance to the precepts. Yeah, as the great monks I mentioned, they are our inspiration. Our minds become happy, become bright and clear, yeah, when we reflect upon them. Okay, he has a right state of mind, being inspired by the Sangha. And when he has suppressed all these hindrances of greed, of anger, of delusion, his mind can become well concentrated. Some more, he writes, furthermore, when a person reflects upon the qualities of the Sangha, he is respectful and deferential towards the Sangha. He attains faithfulness and has much happiness and gladness. He also overcomes fear and dread. He is able to bear pain and comes to feel as if he were living in the Sangha's presence. So these are the benefits that we get when we come into contact with the great monks and nuns, yeah, who really live according to the example of the Buddha and the Sangha during the Buddha's time. Next, please. And here I have assembled pictures of great monks, you know, who are inspiration to me personally. I have met almost all of them, except for two. Yeah, I have not met the Dalai Lama, unfortunately. One day I will definitely try to meet him. Yeah, and Venerable Buddha Dasa from Thailand, who has passed away. All these other monks, yeah, have been my mentors, have been my teachers, have been my inspiration. So I try my best to lead my life following their example. Although I am not a monk, yeah, I use them. I look at them. I see how they behave, how they are so dedicated to the Dhamma, how they live their lives, yeah, in a very inspiring way. Yeah, and they do not let go of their mindfulness. Some of them, yeah, it is said, and I believe so, that they have attained the high states, yeah, of enlightenment. And when I have met some of them, I am convinced, yeah, that this person is not an ordinary human being, is not an ordinary monk. And I try my best to learn as much as possible, to practice according to their instructions. They are really, really wonderful examples for us to follow. Next, please. And I have not forgotten the nuns. And there are many more, just as there are many more monks. There are just these few. Yeah, I do not have time to describe who they are. Even towards the right, the two pictures, yeah, at the right, they are not fully ordained, because it's quite difficult, yeah, to ordain as a nun following the full process. But they have lived and they have practiced, and their practice and wisdom are great inspiration because of the way that they can explain the Dhamma in great detail. Means that they are not explaining from the book, they are explaining from practice. They have actually experienced the things they have talked about. And therefore, they also deserve our admiration. They also deserve, yeah, our respect. Next, please. So let us now reflect on taking of refuges. Yeah. Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as well. When we want to take refuge, yeah, in anything, yeah, especially the three jewels, it is an internal process. So our heart and our mind must be in it. What does that mean? We must have the intellectual understanding, but we must have the process of letting our heart be part of it as well. We can understand using the head, but we can stay with the practice using the heart. If we are emotionally connected, we will always hold something very precious. So it is a head and a heart. So therefore, brothers and sisters, don't just listen to the talk. You must practice it as well. Because it is through the practice that you know what the Buddhist teachings, what the Buddha said is actually true. There is a kind of a distinction. Those who have experienced some kind of wisdom, which allows them to come to the conclusion that there is another level of existence. This is important. Because without that kind of understanding, we will just be wandering, here and there as a so-called Buddhist, and our lives will not be made more rich or meaningful through experience of the Dhamma. So therefore, it is not just a matter of reading, not a matter of listening, not a matter of using our head. We have to practice. And when things appear and when we experience things, it becomes real to us. And Nibbana is not far away. We can reach out and work towards it. So in also, the refuge means invoking the deepening. It is not simply involvement, it becomes commitment. So in our lives, very often we are just involved. We are not committed. But when our life frees us, for example, we retire from our work. And even some people, I've seen them. They work for a while and then they will take breaks, sometimes 1 year, sometimes more, to go and practice. Then they will come back to their jobs or go and look for another job again. So involvement has become commitment. And it is the commitment to wake up, to become real Buddhists, to awaken in this world. So we can liken it to finding the Buddha in oneself, as the Buddha is the fully awakened one. If we do not experience the Dhamma, we do not know the Buddha. So therefore, give it some commitment. If we are committed to study and practice, and we experience what is called insight, that insight convinces us the Buddha's teachings is really true. It is not a set of fairy tale writing. It is true. You can overcome certain suffering according to the level that you are practicing, if you keep to it. Next, please. So the important practice, reading, studying is very important, but the practice of mindfulness brings the three jewels together in the present moment. I hope you can read that clearly. The present moment is always with us. The present moment, once we experience it, becomes the past. What is in the future? We do not know. We only own this thing. We only own the present moment. So be in the present moment and understand it. See it clearly, what it means to exist in this world. And the present moment, as I've said, will keep us in touch with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Arya Sangha, who are actually protected by them. Next, please. So in the end, yes, one more time, right? We must have trust and confidence, as I mentioned. Trust in the Buddha, confidence in his teachings. Because why? They will tell us to stop doing certain things we like. We have enjoyed doing these things, but now they said, now you've got to keep the precepts. Don't do these things anymore. Don't do these things so much. And therefore, if we have no confidence, if we don't trust the Buddha, we will say, why are they asking us to make my life more difficult? My life is already so hard. Asking me to give this up, give that up, more difficult. Yeah, I don't enjoy so much. But in that way, if we really can see it, where it takes us to, it is giving us the essence of refuge. Next, please. In ending this talk and also ending the series of the 3 refuges, I would just like to introduce this sutta to you. It is called the Cetokila Sutta. It is the 5 mental barrennesses. It means when we have these 5, we are barren. Barren means nothing grows. Yeah, it is empty. It's like a desert. So there are these 5 instances where our minds and our heart are like desert. And what are these 5? The Buddha explained in this sutta. Bhikkhus, that any bhikkhus who have not abandoned these 5 should come to grow, increase fulfillment in this Dhamma and the discipline. Is impossible. As long as we have these 5, we cannot grow in the Dhamma development. We cannot grow in wisdom. We cannot grow in the happiness of the Dhamma. And the Buddha then asked, what are these 5? And these are the 5 that must be abandoned. Number 1, the Buddha explained in detail. Here, a bhikkhu is doubtful, uncertain, undecided, and unconfident about the teacher. Hey, Buddha really exists. The Buddha, I think the Buddha is a God. You must go and pray and then ask for 4D numbers. That one, very good for the Buddha. So this person is barren. Nothing grows in the mind. Nothing grows in the heart. He is doubtful, uncertain, undecided, and unconfident about the teacher. And therefore, he is not inclined to other. Other means passion. Really, commitment. No devotion, no perseverance, and no striving in that person. And because of that, he will not progress along the Noble Eightfold Path. Next, please. And then the bhikkhu, the person who has taken renunciation, is doubtful, uncertain, and undecided, and unconfident about the Dhamma. Is this Dhamma true? No, they compile it. No. People have written it and they change it. So how do we know this is really true? Maybe they just tell us in order to make us behave. So this person who thinks like this, the mind is barren. Nothing grows. Wisdom will not grow. Virtue will not grow. Again, the bhikkhu has no confidence in the Sangha. And the mind is not lively, is not committed to practice. And then the bhikkhu is doubtful, uncertain about the training, the precepts, the training of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. This is not important. To the monk, to the bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, whose mind is like desert, no wisdom, no virtue will grow there. And then it is said, the bhikkhu is angry and displeased with his companions. That means the monk, when he looks at other monks who are behaving and studying and practicing, he gets angry. Hey, don't have to practice so hard now. Let us chit chat. So that kind of monk will never get the full value of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And the Buddha said, these are the 5 wilderness. Wilderness means ulu place, very ulu, nothing grows in the heart that he has not abandoned. So in that person's mind, in that person's heart, no wisdom, no virtue, nothing grows. Next, please. So we have discussed taking refuge. But the Buddha said the greatest of refuge is your own self. No one saves us but ourselves. That is the beautiful hymn that we used to sing when we were much younger, which doesn't seem like very long ago. So the Buddha said, be self-reliant, but be educated, be knowledgeable, understand what to practice. use the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha, but at the end of the day, it is you who are going to decide whether you will get to the highest happiness or you will get to the highest suffering. It's up to you, the Buddha said. Because if you don't have this self-reliance, if you don't have this self-confidence, you will not get anywhere. You cannot make your own decision. People will influence you, do this, do that, and then you follow them here, you follow them there. You do not know what is the true way. You do not know the true refuge of the Buddha. You go for wrong refuge. You do not know the true refuge of the Dhamma. You go for wrong refuge. You do not know the true refuge of the Sangha. You go to others for refuge. Such a waste when you have good teachers, good monks, good practitioners, and then you go to others for your refuge. Such a waste. Such a waste. Yeah, you already have come to a good place, and then other people draw you away to another place, which is of not so great benefit. So you have to be very careful. Make up your mind. Self-reliance, the Buddha said, is the best of refuges. So with that, next please. I would like to end this talk, this sharing, and the series on the true refuge. And this picture, just like a monk who comes to teach us, eventually will go back into the forest. That is their behavior, that is their nature. I'd like to thank you for your kind attention. Thank you so much for listening. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Brother Siang Chye, for the very informative, educational, and inspiring talk this morning. We shall now proceed with the Q&A session. Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, if you have any questions to ask Brother Siang Chye, you may post your questions in the comments box now. Brother Siang Chye, one question. Every now and then, we do hear about so-and-so, or this venerable so-and-so is a Arahant, that venerable so-and-so is a Sotapan. Is there any way that we can tell whether a member of the Sangha is actually an Arahant or Sotapan as described by the Buddha?
Well, to tell you the truth, the Buddha did mention it takes one Arahant to know another Arahant. So if we are not Arahants, it's very difficult for us to know. What we can do is we can make an educated guess. Meaning to say, we think that this person is a Sotapanna, this person is a Sakadagami, this person is an Anagami, this person is an Arahant. We only can make the guess. We should respect every member of the Sangha. We should respect them with great veneration. All of them. But there are certain monks and certain nuns that we know are, number one, they are very, very careful in the observance of the precepts. They will not break certain precepts. None of the precepts will they ever break, which means that their sila is impeccable. Their sila is wonderful. Their sila is well kept. So we can know that this person, the virtue of this person is very great. Then there are certain explanations. And from the behavior, we also know that this person is not greedy. This person doesn't ask for unnecessary things, or only the things that are allowed for the monks and nuns. Then the level of wisdom. There are certain things, that ordinary lay Dhamma speakers like us, like me, we cannot teach certain things. Because why? We have no experience of them. We have not gone through that experience. So we can teach according to the book. And there are many of you out there who have read a lot of books. So you know what has been written in the books. But there are those who explain it according to experience. And when they explain this phenomena, these kind of issues or matters, not using the book, then you can know that this monk, this nun, this teacher is somebody who is very different, has gone through the experience, maybe of Magga and Phala. And when they go through that Magga and Phala experience, they will describe directly to you, not according to the book, what they have gone through, the full experience. And then we know, according to that explanation, this monk or this nun is someone special, someone extraordinary. But we can only know if we are near them, because the nearer we are to them, we can observe. We can observe them. Do they get angry? Do they have kinds of craving or desire that we have, they should not have? So we look at them, sometimes very closely, right? But we are entitled to our own opinions. We make up an opinion, but we don't go and declare it. The person who declares it, sometimes it is not the right thing to do due to the fact that others might be listening to what you are saying. And then when others hear you say certain things, they will start to compare. The person, this monk that you talk about, is not so good because he has this kind of behavior. And then the mind becomes polluted. So it is not right for us to say, I know this is an Arahant. How do you know? You only know if you are an Arahant. Are you trying to say that? I'm an Arahant, so I know another Arahant. So in not so many words, the person will say, I'm an Arahant. No, because I know that one is an Arahant. That is the meaning. You might not be aware of it, but that is the meaning. Because the Buddha did say it takes one to know another one. So be very careful. Don't go and make all these claims of spiritual attainment if you are not sure. If you are not sure, just say this person, I believe, is highly virtuous, highly, very, very wise. I believe so. But don't go around saying Arahant this, Arahant that, because do you know? Do you actually know? So we should avoid these kind of statements. Until you become Arahant, then you can say what you want. Then people will respect you and respect the statements that you make as well. I hope that is a good explanation.
Mm. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye. There's one question here. When I pay respect to a monk, am I paying respect to that monk only or to the Sangha community?
Yes, it's a good question, actually. What is the nature of your mind when you do that? Because when we look at the monk, and we look at the monk as so and so, this is Reverend or Venerable so and so, and I know him because he comes from Kuala Lumpur and he was ordained in Petaling Jaya. So then that kind of familiarity, that means you know this monk very closely, very well. Then you identify with the person that the monk used to be or the monk is now, then the scope becomes very, very narrow. So when I offer certain requisites, I am offering it to Venerable so and so. When the mind becomes more, when the mind understands, I offer this to this monk who represents the entire Sangha community from the time of the Buddha, then that offering takes on a different value. Sometimes we say when there are 4 monks present, this is Maha Sangika. When we offer dana, we offer Sangika dana to the 4 monks. We use this number, 4, Chatu, the 4 monks, as representing the entire Sangha community. And it is the Sangha community from the time of the Buddha. So therefore, our thinking should be like this. I prepare the food maybe for the dana. This food I offer to the entire Sangha. And I will let the entire Sangha decide whether they want to eat my food or not. Don't take this dish and say, Reverend, you must eat. Oh, no. Because what I cook for you, no. What about the rest? I don't cook for them. I cook this for you because I know you like this. That is not offering to the entire Sangha community. That is offering to your friend who happens to be a monk. Somebody that you know, who is now a renounced person. The real way is, here it is. Through my effort, I have prepared the ingredients. I have cooked it as a dish. This dish I offer to the entire Sangha from the time of the Buddha. And I put this on this table. After that, I leave it. Whether the Sangha wants to partake, that is their decision. No longer my decision. I will stand back. I have done my duty. I have made my offering. Now the Sangha is to decide. Because it does not belong to me anymore. I cannot hold on to it and then go and like that. This is mine. No, I cook it. No, I cannot do that. There is no wisdom. There is attachment to what you are doing. So therefore, the right way is, in answer to the question, it's a very, very good question. Thank you for asking this question. Put it there. Your mind says, I'm offering it to the Sangha community. Now, once I offer it to you, you decide what you want to do with it. I leave it to you. So that way, you are offering it to the entire Sangha community. But that does not mean, we cannot buy certain things. For example, there are certain things not under the requisites. And nowadays, we are asking monks to have handphone. Bante, you have handphone, so I can call you. Then we can discuss certain things. So maybe there are certain things that are needed, like, maybe this earphones or that you might want to offer. So your mind, could be that you are offering it to this monk so that he can do his work. He can stay in touch. People can call him for Dhamma talk. People can call him for dana. People can ask him questions when he is not, in the temple. So we must think very carefully, because there is also the danger, and it is something that we have done. We have made monks more like laymen. And the whole reason why they are not laymen is because they have run away or they have renounced the layman life. Don't give them the articles, the items of a layman life, unless it is for a specific purpose. If we are not wise, we are bringing down the value of the Sangha through our wrong action, our ignorance. We make the value of the Sangha go down. So, and you know what happens when that happens? Sometimes we give the monk, some monks, they wear gold watch. When they wear gold watch and they go and mix with other people, and other people said, wow, this monk, he's so rich, he's wearing a gold watch. I thought they are renounced people. The reputation of the Sangha becomes tarnished. The value of the Sangha goes down because you don't know how to make the right gifts to the Sangha. So be very careful. Think carefully. Consider it before you offer certain things to the monks. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Siang Chye. Can we take one more question?
Okay.
From Jeremy Uy. A person,
yes.
Arahantship. Can a lay person achieve Arahantship?
To tell you the truth, it has happened during the Buddha's time. It happened during those times when there was a Buddha living and walking on the earth. Today, 2,600 years later, those people with that kind of parami or perfections, those who have worked hard and got the right kind of ingredients for arahantship, I really do not think that a lay person, maybe monks can achieve it, but I really do not think in this present day. This is my personal opinion. And you asked the question, so I must answer it. I really think it is very difficult to find a lay arahant today. But the Buddha did say, he made certain qualifications, made certain requirements of the lay person who becomes an arahant during his time. He made this requirement that the lay person who attains arahantship must enter the Sangha as soon as possible, become a monk or a nun, because then the value, the protection, or actually the other lay people will not treat you like normal anymore. You can imagine you go up to an arahant and then put your hand on the back. Hey, let's go and have teh tarik or go drinking. What kind of karma you have initiated? Because you don't know the person is an arahant. So you suspect you have attained arahantship as a lay person. Leave that life quickly, so that as a monk, as a nun, these ordinary ignorant people cannot go and put the hand on your back, on your shoulder. Let's go and have teh tarik, let's go and makan nasi lemak and all. They can't do that to you anymore. So in that way, the lay people are protected from that kind of strong karma. You can't go and simply say things to them. Go and gossip with them. Cannot, because the arahant are not interested anymore. Anyway, they don't want to talk these kind of things. They only want to discuss Dhamma. Or the Buddha said, if you think you cannot enter the Sangha, you must give up the life within 48 hours. Which is not a big deal to an arahant. Whether he lives or whether he doesn't live, it doesn't really matter, because he or she is only looking forward to the parinibbana. That means give up. This body, you might be enlightened as an arahant, but this body needs to be taken care of, needs food, needs washing, needs medicine. After that, get sick, or got headache, all kinds of things. So to the arahant, the existence now, in the human body is like living in a burning house. You are living, the Arahant considers himself or herself as living in a burning house. Oh, the house burning, I want to get out. But the karma doesn't let him or her out. So he's waiting for the time he can relinquish this body. No more disease, no more pain, no more headaches, no more physical ailments. But the mental ailments, difficulties, don't have. Why? Because they have overcome their craving. So they are not worried anymore. You want me to die? Yeah, I think I will give up the life. So I give up the body. I'm no longer in the burning house. I am so happy. But the karma sometimes don't allow them. So they are stuck in the burning house. So when it comes for them to die, si Fok saya, let me go off here from this body, yeah, and I will enter Nibbana. So these are the requirements that the Buddha suggested, yeah, for those people. Very rare. It's very rare. Even during the Buddha's time, it was rare to find a layman attaining the arhatship. They will sometimes listen, they will reflect, they will meditate, and pop, they go straight through. No sotapanya, not they pump, get the arhatship straight away. Yeah, these people are supposed to renounce. They don't get the opportunity to renounce. They just go straight, to the arhatship. So good question also. Thank you.
Okay, once again, thank you to Brother Siang Chye for the very informative, educational, and insightful Dhamma talk, and also the enlightening answers to our questions. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have all participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service, listening to the Dhamma talk, and with further understanding during the Q&A. With the merits accrued, let us share and transfer the merits to all living and departed relatives, friends, families, and to all beings. Let's chant together. Patidana. Akasata bummata devanaga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu lokasasanang chirang rakantu desanang chirang rakantu mangparang. Ettavata ca amhehi sambadang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe satta sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba samprati siddhya. Idang enyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang enyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang enyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imang no punya bagang Mata pitunancha, acharyanancha, sabba satanancha, sabba mitanancha, sabba nyatidancha, sabba petanancha, sabba devatanancha, bhajema. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema sabbe sata sukita hontu. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punyang asavakaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters, in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the triple gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Sukhi Hontu. To all the devotees, thank you very much for participating. We continue to welcome those who are participating from outside Malaysia. Please join us a few minutes before we start in order to follow our intro video and in time to participate in the Buddha Puja service. Please help me to thank the speaker, Brother Tan Siang Chye, our moderator, Sister Anne Siu, the technical digital team, Brother Chin and Brother Alfred. We have come to the end of this 24th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. Please visit us again next Sunday, 9:30 a.m. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you continue to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well and happy and peaceful always. Sukhi Hontu and goodbye. Sabbe Satha Sukita Hontu.
Bahung sahan semabhinim mitesayudantang ngirimi kelang uditego Sasene marang Dana di Dhamma